Good evening, and we are tonight going to be talking about three things.
1, 2, 3.
But you're going to have to stay to the end when we start talking about cash flow and updates on.
Cash flow is one of the three things, just to be clear.
Yes.
We actually have a script for tonight's show.
And I always
that
fail.
She has already failed. Like in the first 14 seconds of the show, you have already failed. Hold on, let me hold up the script for you.
We're talking about tonight 3 insights. Stay tuned till the end where we talk about cash flow. I have a gift for that too. I got to find it.
You have a gift for screwing up the script?
No, I have a gift for the cash flow. All right, so let's get started.
We're going to start? Okay. Well, first of all, I want to start with
some housekeeping.
Some housekeeping stuff. By our count, we're somewhere around $50 million in approvals we've obtained. And there, Linda just did it again. She keeps moving out of frame. You don't even want to know the argument we had before we went live with every time I move the camera, she goes out of frame. And then I move the camera again, she goes out of the frame. And then she goes out of the frame. And I keep moving the camera, which is about to fall off of its stand over here. Okay.
Well, we actually moved our situation because it was snowing outside today. It was so beautiful, but of course now it's dark, so you can't see it.
You can't see the snow. So by our count, somewhere around $50 million in approvals for EIDL and other types of COVID-related pandemic relief since March of 2020, 2 years ago next week, when we started doing this.
Yeah.
And we have heard it all. We have seen it all. Most of it from the client side and from you folks in the audience, the stress, the anxiety, the desperation. And on the SBA side, to use a favorite invented Linda Ray word, the idiocy.
The idiocy.
Idiocy. Too bad we don't have a banner for that. Idiocy of the SBA.
I can make a banner, baby. I can make a banner.
And through all of this, we have hewn a very straight line through all of this mess, which is this line is the 4 Ps. Idiocy.
I didn't
okay.
Spell it right. Hold on. Idiocy.
Idiocy.
Is that it?
No.
It's not a real word, so
I okay. Now I'm screwing it up. Okay.
All right.
Stop interrupting me.
Okay.
So we've hewn a straight line through this. This is how we've gotten 50+ million in approvals. And that line is the 4 Ps. What are the 4 Ps, Linda Ray?
Process.
No.
Hold on.
Oh my heavens.
Okay.
Literally, it's right there written down.
Okay.
Come on.
Patience.
Wait, watch the finger.
Persistence. Process and person/people.
People. Stop saying persons. You keep changing it when I write it. It's not persons. It's people. Patience, which I don't have a lot of for Linda Ray tonight. Wait, we have to tell you how famous we are, by the way, because I'll tell you about our Giphies in a moment.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Patience and persistence with the process, because there is a process to get approved. And the final P, which we've added in recent months, is people, or as Linda keeps pointing out, person, like the person or persons who get your file at the SBA, whether it's the idiocy people on the SBA's 4506T screening team, who don't even know how to fill out a 4506T. You went out of frame again, by the way. They don't even know how to fill out the form. And they come back telling us and telling you folks out there in the world, this 4506T will be rejected by the IRS for this reason, for that reason, which are not at all reasons that the IRS would reject it.
Yes.
And as we will talk about later in our segment in our 3 insights tonight with cash flow, the loan officer gets your file. It's all about the loan officer who gets your file.
It's about the loan officer who gets your file.
Right.
So you have to keep going, and you have to keep
patience,
submitting,
and persistence.
You have to keep submitting your file. The question is, though, depending on if you're our client, you know what that means. If you're not a client, there's documents and forms that if you haven't filled them out yet, you're going to want to fill those out and have that as a completed package.
Next bit of housekeeping I want to talk about in just the last 24 hours of two of our clients have emailed saying, "Oh my God, the SBA is running out of money, and I'm not approved yet. Oh my God, what am I going to do? They're running out of money." And I'm like, "Who the hell is telling you they're running out of money?" Well, it turns out to be from what we consider to be a reputable source, which is the Skip channel with Ryder. And I actually watch their updates. How I missed this one is beyond me, but we've been kind of busy helping people get approved. So apparently Ryder came out with a video the other day saying that the SBA has about $41 billion remaining in the EIDL program, and they're approving around $1 billion a day. So, you do the math. That means, oh my God, there's 41 days left. Okay. I love SBA saying they're approving $1 billion a day, because you know what? I doubt it. Look, sorry if I'm skeptical of pretty much anything the SBA says. If they say the sky is blue, I don't believe them.
But this is where I chime in and remind everybody, and this is important. You can only control what you can control. Did
you really just jump the script again?
Did I?
Oh, my heavens. At least you're in the shot this time. Look, the line SBA is at the very bottom of this paragraph.
All right. Well, it's not a shock that was going to happen.
I just want to say the reason I'm talking about the script so much is because the last show we did, which was completely unscripted, it was an idea that Linda had to go live, and we went live impromptu, just bang, bang, bang. And we felt like a couple of knuckleheads because we didn't really know. We kind of rambled on throughout the show. So we went back to the script. Okay, so let's go back to the script.
One of us went back to the script.
Yeah, one of us went back to the script. At least one of us is staying in frame. Okay. The SBA. So let's do a little math, because #math is fun, and I love doing math. And that is, all right, so if there's $41 billion left, truly.
Was it wind or storm?
That's the snowplow.
Oh, the snowplow.
We can see it going up our road, up the hill.
All right.
It's the snowplow, our intrepid Public Works Department here in Roxbury, Connecticut. Okay.
All right. So
hold on. I haven't finished because you keep interrupting me with your not scripted script, not script.
All right.
Nonsense. Non-scriptable. Is that a word?
I don't think so.
It is now.
You know what else is not a word? Michael from Reuters Sanctuary would know this. Is restorable? Restorable?
Can we go back to the script?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's restorable to the script. Okay. All right. So let's do a little math. If there's $41 billion left, in each $1 billion is 1,000 $1 million EIDL loans, right? Or 500 $2 million EIDL loans. Except the average SBA EIDL is probably around 250 to 350, 250,000, 350,000. Okay. But if it's $1 million, that means if there's 1,000 per billion, there's 41 billion. That means there's 41,000 potential $1 million loans still to be approved. Now, we know from a very reputable journalistic source in recent weeks that, which we can't share who the source is because it's off the record, but we know that Guzman directly to this journalist's face said, there's plenty of money left.
Oops.
And we're down to thousands of loans. Thousands. What does that mean, thousands? Does it mean 41,000? Does it mean 7,000 or 8,000? Does it mean 20,000? I don't know. You don't know. All I'm saying is if you just take the math and just kind of stretch it out a little bit, sure, the program is going to end soon. They are going to run out of money soon. But you can't control that. And now this part of the script where Linda kicks in and says,
you can't control that. No, you know, I get a lot of emails every day of people who are emotionally exhausted and just
almost as exhausted as I am with this show tonight.
And they're just all over the place with their concerns and their worry and the whole like running out of money, but they haven't yet. And you still have a chance, you know? So I think you really have to control what you can control. You have to put your energies into stuff you can control. And not only that, but I mean, just psychologically, it's going to make you feel a little bit more useful and productive, because other than that, you're going to be panicking and then doing what?
You cannot control how much money the SBA has left, if they're going to get to your file in time or not. Any more than you can control sunrise or sunset. You can't. You can control your aspect of the process: patience, persistence, process. You cannot control the person who gets your file at the SBA, but you can control if some idiot at the SBA declines your loan and you go, wait a minute, I've verified all the eligibility. I've read the guidelines. I've seen Linda Ray and Trevor's videos. It is clear to me I'm eligible. So the person who declined me must not be on point. Resubmit the file. You see, that you can control because that's part of the process.
And also, if you know, I know there are a couple people who have commented that they're not in business because they don't have the loan approved yet. And in order to get back into business, they need this loan. So that's
wait, if they're out of business, you can't get the loan.
Well, they're not out of business, but they have ceased their operations.
If you ceased operations, you cannot get the loan.
All right. Well, okay. So there's that. Okay. But then there's the other aspect of, you know, if you have a viable business that is surviving, then you want to focus the effort of how you can continue to make money without the loan. That's what you can control. And that's going to give you a sense of purpose. And you're going to, you know, again, the whole feeling useful and feeling productive because you're doing things you can control. But if you're worried and panicked and all the fear, you're going to just stay stuck.
This is a lot of what we've had to wade through in the last 2 years with our clients and with folks here on YouTube. And when we used to do our free phone consultations, a lot of it is talking folks off the ledge.
This is a bad time for me to have given up therapy, you know, because I could have probably been a little bit more articulate with the whole psychological component of this process for 2 years. So, you know, I'm not a coach.
A lot of what we've done has been therapeutic, I think, for people.
Well, so, you know, the therapeutic part is where we have taken over the process so they can get back to work. Although there is a population of clients that still want to micromanage the process. Like, why did you hire us then?
Speaking of our 4 Ps, patience, persistence, process, person, people, and controlling what you can control, and our attitude towards the SBA EIDL program and all of your anxieties and stress. I'm going to read a text message today, which is going to segue us into the first of our 3 insights. But before I do, just want to remind you, if you have not subscribed, you can still subscribe because we are going to keep this EIDL channel going after the EIDL COVID-19 program runs out of money, because there are still disaster loans available in areas that have been affected by climate change related issues, storm damage, and things of that nature. So we're still going to be providing YouTube insights into the EIDL program going forward. So click on the subscribe and the little bell if you could take a moment to do that.
Oh, and also to our other channel, Simple Sense for Small Business, which because of the craziness of the SBA EIDL, we have not done a new podcast in a month. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
But our last one was about credit score inquiry. So I'm going to put a link in.
We're working hard and looking forward to getting our lives back from the SBA EIDL program in the coming weeks or months. So one of our clients was funded today for his approved loan for $500,000. And he signed up with us, I believe, May or June of last year. Restaurant owner in California. I'm not sure if he's on the show tonight. He often does appear on the show tonight. Often in the past on our shows, he appears massively stressed out. Very important that you note that about this client, because he was approved a couple of days ago, and today he sent me a text message to tell me I got funded today, right? So he was approved Friday. He was approved, not a week ago. He was approved Friday, because here's the text message.
Oh, okay.
He was approved Friday.
And
today at 3:22 Eastern time, he said, "Hello, I have been funded. Thank you so much." I said, "Woohoo, congratulations." He said, "Thank you. My senator never called me."
Oh, we're going to get into that.
So we're going to use that to segue into the first of our 3 insights. But he said probably the best thing anybody could say to us. He said, "You guys were right from the beginning."
You know, it's not like
I'm patting you on the back.
It's not like being right has all the accolades that one thinks. But you know, it does feel good.
I said, "Oh, thanks. What were we right about?" I'll let you read his response.
Everything.
Everything. What were you right about? Everything.
We've gotten beaten up pretty bad by a lot of people
who don't trust us to actually know what we're doing and taking their stress out on us. So, which we always tell them, you are misdirecting your anxiety and anger. It should be at the SBA, and Linda's out of frame. Once again, out of frame. Okay, so that lets us segue into the first of our 3 insights. You want to share what that is as per the script, Linda Ray?
Per the script. Congressional, Congressional inquiries, U.S. Senator only. Phone call, phone call, phone call.
What does that mean? It means only call your U.S. Senator's office.
Yeah, not any other.
We haven't seen
state
that the Congress people, congressmen, congresswomen, we haven't seen their offices be as successful in their congressional inquiries. And it's interesting because one of our clients who owns the little marketplace here in town, he said, well, if you think about it, a senator, they have 4-year terms. They're around a lot longer. They're often reelected and they're often in office for decades. They have deeper pockets, better resources, better quality staff than a two-year congressperson might have. And so senators' offices only.
But here's
what you want to do is you want to ask them to do what?
The only thing you want them to do, I know, I can see it. The only thing you want them to do is you want them to insist that an SBA loan officer from the high priority team calls you, contacts you.
That's it.
That's it. What we're seeing are novel length emails that advise the status of the file or what documents still have to be uploaded. It's like, we know that. When it's not approved, we don't need to know anything else. What we need is a loan officer to contact you
from
the
Congressional Intervention High Priority Team. Yes. SBA has a special. This is why we started referring this to our clients about somewhere around the beginning of February, I think.
Mark.
We started referring this to our clients. Now, the thing is, as with everything SBA related, not everybody is successful with the senator's offices.
It's a hit or miss.
Again, like anything else in the process, hit or miss. What I wrote back to this client today, he said nobody from the senator's office ever called him. And I said, you're not alone. You know, not everyone has a positive experience with contacting the senator. But as we always do here on our channel, and as we do with our clients behind the scenes here, it's just another idea we came up with to help you get approved.
This is the other thing, too, that we have had to impress vehemently upon our clients is that if you're not getting, I mean, as a business owner, and if this is going to be successful for you, you do have to take the initiative to continue following up if they're not getting back to you. And it has to be this diligent, it sucks that you have to spend this much time, but because in the past month, we've gotten about $10 million in approvals
from this particular strategy,
then that's why you want to dedicate the time to continue getting in touch with them and calling the U.S. Senator's office and only demanding that they get the SBA loan officer to contact you.
And if they tell you
anything else is bullshit.
If they put you in touch with the SBA regional office,
yeah.
If they send you a letter from the SBA describing the status of your file, if they any action except an SBA loan officer from the high priority team calling you and saying, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm on the high priority team. I'm calling you a result of your senator's office inquiring about your file. Please call me back. They usually send an email as well. Okay, that's it. Because you want the loan officer and you want to say to the loan officer, listen, I have sent in a 4506T 17 times. I've submitted SBA Form 3501. Mr. Loan Officer, do you see it in the file? By the way, you have to tell them that because very often they don't know that the 3501 is in the file. If you saw, we've said this many hundreds of times on our videos, if you saw what your file looks like electronically, it can take considerable time to find documents in a file. We have the same issue here with our client files using our CRM. If I have to find an email the client sent or a note or something that we have in the file, it can take a few minutes to find it. And SBA agents are not your advocate, so they're not as encouraging themselves to go looking for stuff. So it's okay to say to the loan officer, I submitted a 4506T 17 times. 3501 is in the file. Cash flow. We're going to talk about cash flow at tonight's show. All of these things, that's your moment of truth.
Now, there's of the high priority loan officers, there is one in particular who has proven to be useless.
No,
yes,
it's not just one. There's more than a few.
Well,
who are proven to be useless.
That's true. I forgot because we have had so many people.
Yeah. Mark is here on the show. He's a really good example of a really loser. I mean, the SBA loan officer on his file is an absolute loser of an incompetent fool. And unfortunately, it was unable to help him. So, but again, it is only one of our strategies. And the primary strategy is you got to have your paperwork. Perfect.
Gotta have your paperwork.
We've done all the videos. We have our roadmap to reconsideration, which is available for purchase.
It's our only. Someone asked how they get in touch to take over their case. We are not taking new clients.
We're not taking clients.
We were going to try. We were going to try. First we said we weren't December 31st, and then we were trying, but it's too much. The SBA is too unreliable, and we just cannot. We like to sleep at night, so we don't. But we have the roadmap.
It's also to be honest. Also, we have to get out. We're exhausted. We've been doing this now for 2 years. Next week will be 2 years, and I cannot possibly recite to you the kind of stresses. I mean, it has affected our personal relationship.
Well, not like detrimental. It's not like, but
we've only broken up 17 times, not 19 or 22.
No, and I've gained like 15 pounds.
I've pounded on the weight too.
Oh my God.
We don't get out of the house. We bought this home to live and work here as a really gorgeous place where it feels like you're on vacation all the time. Not for the last 2 years for us. So we have to close it down. And also we have no revenue coming in.
Yeah.
Because we stopped taking clients. And the SBA does not allow us to charge more than the $2,500. So we stopped taking clients in December. So we need to be able to move on and create some new businesses.
I'm going to put the link to the roadmap for those of you who are inquiring about how to work with us. The only thing is somehow, some way, added to everything else.
Our website
crashed yesterday.
Yeah.
And Bluehost, yes, I'm calling out Bluehost, is taken almost 48 hours to put this thing, to restore this thing back.
But it'll be restored. These things happen and you'll be able to access it. So we do have a couple of other content products we're going to talk about. So let's move on, Linda Ray, to the second of our third insights.
Michael's waiting for I know, right, Michael? Because we can't get
second of our three insights. I'm holding up the script, blocking the camera. Now you're off camera.
Post-closing. Payments begin this month. If you got a loan in March 2020 or next month, April 2020, you got a loan. Or
June 2020.
Post-closing.
Whether you got an increase or not, your payments are going to start.
Yep. And we have, so post-closing, you're going to have to deal with payments. You're going to have to deal with how to pay and SBA notifications.
There's
requirements.
Listen,
there's
that
more
loan agreement.
Stuff
there's
that
all
you have
kinds
to
of stuff that you're responsible for.
As a business owner with a government loan, if you
some of it for the next 5 years, some of it for the next 30.
If you haven't read your loan agreement, you're going to want to read your loan agreement.
Or you're going to want to buy our workbook, which is?
It's the Blueprint Post-Closing Loan Requirements. And there's like 20 pages, and it has samples of letters and affidavits and checklists for insurance and allowable uses of funds.
Notably, what to do to spend the EIDL money. Yeah. Now, in my travels on YouTube in recent weeks, I've seen a couple of videos going back last year and maybe older. I don't know, but different YouTube videos where people are saying, what you can use the EIDL money to spend on.
Yeah.
Guess what? Nobody knows. How about that?
Yeah.
Nobody knows. I'll tell you why. In our booklet, we tell you why and what you can do to fall within the acceptable guidelines at SBA. But you have to purchase the book to get that information. And we're going to take,
you know what? No, I want to say this for those that will want to drop off because we're pushing products. You know, we've been, again,
we're not selling t-shirts or coffee mugs.
Well, most of our live streams have always been insights we've gathered and garnered, and then live Q&A, sharing how to answer some questions and so on. But we hardly sell, we hardly push, but because we stopped taking clients, we're trying to get creative and pivot with other ways of having money coming in.
And the nature of
we're pushing products.
But the nature of the information we're providing, we can't do it here on these videos. We can't. It's got to be in writing. And I'm sorry. You know, you're business people. I'm sure you don't give away all of your business.
I do.
Yeah. So we're not giving it away, and it's a reasonable price, we feel, for the expertise that went into the product.
From some what do they call that? Peace of mind.
Yeah.
For you to be educated as a borrower of a government loan.
We've often said to people who were trying to get their EIDL approved, especially when they were complaining about the hard inquiry in the credit report to get the EIDL. We're just mind-blowing how stupid that was. I know Michael's here. So Michael's going to say, are they going to run my credit report? You know.
Oh, well, you know, I think once again,
what are you willing to do? You know, if you've got an EIDL, you got post-closing requirements, and they're going to continue for years.
But this is the other reason why we decided to take everything we've learned and put it in writing into something that we can provide to you at a price. Because for 2 years, and this is why we started the Simple Sense for Small Business, the mistakes and the shortcuts that people have made as a business owner.
In everything.
And it's been nothing short of alarming. I'm sorry to say.
We've seen Stephen King horror story level nightmare scenarios from bad CPAs and accountants to misfiled tax returns to, you know, you had 5 1099 people. You tell the federal government you got 5 employees. You don't. You get 5 independent accountants. There's all kinds of craziness. So our products that we're creating here to assist you are reasonably priced, and they will give you peace of mind.
Yes. And the other thing too, as business owners, you know, I learned, I tweeted this, I think. I learned a long time ago.
Mark Pruitt.
Mark,
come on, buddy. Cut it out. Well, heavens, that's a lot of pizza.
I'm Mark. I'm gonna give it to you good, okay? But thank you. Okay, thank you. So I tweeted this because a long time ago, about year 1999, to be exact. I won't tell you how old I was because
she was a lot younger than I am. So I was 39 at the time.
But this is the thing. I was working in the insurance business, and I was perplexed about some episode, some scenario that was popping up, and I was asking this veteran insurance professional, like, all these questions, like, what does this mean? What's going on? How does this happen? What do I do now? And he's like, I don't know, figure it out. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, call somebody, call an underwriter, call the claims person or whatever. And so this figure it out mantra has stayed with me for over 20 years. And the thing is, we see a lot of people asking questions without doing any work or research at all. And so you got to take the time.
We've had more than a few comments on these shows, on our YouTube videos, people telling me to shut up. So because they want to cut right to the chase. And sometimes you have to fill it in with the background about why a regulation exists or why a certain process, you know, a document has to be filed. But by the way, just a quick qualifier, when Linda says, you know, she was told, call somebody, don't call the SBA because you will get the wrong answer. And many of you here on the show tonight with us, who are clients, know this. Getting a status from the SBA. You know, I stopped calling the SBA a year ago because in the space of one single day with 2 different tier 2 agents, those are supposedly the experienced agents. I don't know if they were loan officers, whatever they were, but On the same day, 2 different agents told me with regards to a driver's license. First one says the SBA does not accept PDFs for driver's license, JPEGs only. I was like, oh my heavens, I'm so glad you told me that because we've been submitting PDFs. Okay, I'll have the client send a JPEG. About 5 hours later, I was on the call with a different SBA agent, same issue, driver's license, and she said, the SBA does not accept JPEGs. PDFs only for driver's license. Whoever told you JPEGs was wrong. They work in the same agency and they can't even agree on how to submit an image of a driver's license.
Yeah. All right.
That was the day I stopped calling the SBA.
Do we want to open up this for Q&A?
Not yet. But Q&A time is coming up. Nice segue. Get out of my head, because literally I was thinking to introduce that before we go to our third insight about cash flow. We'd like you to prepare your questions for us for tonight's show. And if you're a client and you're asking about a status of your file with us, we're not going to respond to that on the show tonight for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is confidentiality. If you recall, our consulting agreement says non-disclosure. So we're not about to talk about your file live on YouTube. But if you folks have questions for us, we ask you to do a couple of very simple things with the questions. Be specific and provide accurate details and put it all into one question. Please don't send like 17 different posts because we can't track those. We have a screen here. We can see everybody chatting, but we can't keep up and find your question. So think about what your question is, frame it, and be specific in your details. All right, so Q&A is coming up in a moment. And thank you, Lady Ouch. Lady Ouch. Lady Ouch.
And I think Lady Ouch, I think you've already left the review, so we appreciate that.
Okay, so Linda Ray, drum roll. We're going to talk about cash flow. You were supposed to do that, but I've lost you.
Apparently. No, we're going to talk about cash flow.
Can you come back from chatting with everybody?
Yeah.
Now.
Chatting.
Now.
What?
Now, come back. Script.
We are at
cash flow.
Cash flow. Wait, am I this part? No.
Yeah, you got point 1 and point 2.
Okay. Just because a tax return shows a negative does not mean you're out of the game. Number 1.
You can be approved even if your tax return shows negative or 0 cash flow.
And then number 2 is different SBA loan officers it's very subjective. So you have to resubmit. If you get declined, just keep resubmitting. If you get declined, it's all about the loan officer.
So we're talking about cash flow specifically because many folks are confused and concerned about getting an SBA EIDL increase for more than $500,000. Up to $500,000, you need a minimum credit score of 570, and there is no cash flow analysis. They just take your gross profit times 2, and that's your loan amount. From $500,001 and up to $2 million, which is the statutory limit of an SBA loan, EIDL, they will analyze cash flow of your business to make sure that you can pay the debt.
Service the debt. Can I say what I want to say?
That we have a product that you can purchase, which teaches you everything you need to know.
We do have a product that you can purchase that tells you everything you need to know about cash flow.
Again, it's one of those things we can't really put on the video. You've got to see it in writing.
But this is the thing, too, about managing your emotions around things that may not be going your way. If you've made a certain amount of money that qualifies you for a loan above $500,000, they really only announced that the cash flow analysis, like a couple months ago, maybe
September 8th.
September 8th, the cash flow. Okay. So,
well, we think that they backtracked.
So one of the things you have to, as a business owner, take ownership of is it's 2022. 2019 was now 3 years ago. You had some strategies to minimize some tax liability.
I know where you're going with this.
And the CPA and you.
And I love it.
Decided you were going to manage certain ways of minimizing your tax liability and
by adding in expenses
and deducting everything and making no money to show any income, to pay no taxes or minimal taxes. And now it's coming back and you're learning.
Bite you on the
butt. So you're finding out like, oh, so I have to qualify for a larger loan, I have had to show more money on my tax return, and it's not happening that way. So, you know, there are strategies to overcome that. And it may work for you and it may not work for you. But
now the strategies,
you can't be all pissed off because.
But you can certainly make an effort to overcome the challenges of your either zero or negative or low. If your cash flow is too low to stop reading my mind, Kim, you're funny. If your cash flow is too low to be eligible for the debt servicing. So what we've done is put together a comprehensive guide on cash flow analysis and the strategies that we have seen work for our clients to get approved for more than $500,000, even if their tax returns did not, on the initial impression, show there would be sufficient income remaining for cash flow. What Linda was talking about is we've seen that, and even before COVID happened, we had done on this channel when we were still just financing brokers, we had done a video about the look back period.
Look back period.
When you want to borrow money from a bank, or in this case the SBA, but when you want to borrow money from a bank for financing your business, they look back on 3 years of tax returns. And so these strategies that Linda's talking about that many business owners have is they tell their accountant, oh, let's write everything off and not show very little incomes. I don't want to pay a lot of taxes. Well, that's all well and good. I mean, it's all legitimate. It's legal, assuming that you're, you know, claiming legitimate expenses and deductions. But if you later on want to go to a lender and get approved, SOL, baby, shit out of luck.
Well, I mean, you're either going to get declined and this is above 500,000, like to Kim's point, the 178,000 is. That's
not 178,000. That's 1,780,000.
No, it's not.
It is. Well,
no, it's not. It's 178. Stop it. Okay.
Oh, it is 178,000.
Yeah, I know. I know your eyesight's bad because you're an old man, but you know.
That's not. Hey, I'm sitting right here. I can hear you.
But Kim, that when it's below 500, they are doing the economic injury of the gross profit.
Yeah, they don't care about your cash flow, Kim, below 500,000. But so we've put together a comprehensive guide, which includes not only step-by-step strategies that you can take to demonstrate a cash flow positive situation for debt servicing, but also a worksheet where you can do the math either before you submit your request or while you're arguing with the loan officer, or if you've been declined and you want to resubmit it.
All right, let's get some Q&A.
Before we do, the second strategy in cash flow is...
I already said that.
I know, it's worth saying it again.
If you get declined, and this is for loans above 500,000, it's really for all loans. If you get declined, you resubmit your request.
But specifically, if you have been presented, you know, if you used our workbook to come up with strategies to demonstrate cash flow positive for qualifying for a higher amount, and we'll show you in the book, we show you how to calculate your EIDL loan amount, how to calculate your EIDL payment, what it's going to be every month, and then how to incorporate that payment into the total analysis the same way that an SBA loan officer does. Okay. So we've got all that step by step, including a worksheet, and you can do that. But if you have presented this to an SBA loan officer and your loan is still declined,
resubmit. Okay.
Get a different loan officer the next time. You won't get the same loan officer.
You're not going to get the same loan officer.
And hopefully the second loan officer or the third will agree with your argument.
For Q&A, I already know you guys have started. I'm not going to scroll back. So if you have a question, like Huddles already asked the same question twice. So I appreciate that. So put the question again so that it's a little bit more right here and I don't have to scroll back. With debt on the 2202, we went into excruciating detail on that, on what not to put on the 2202.
In another video.
In a live stream from February 3rd that I just extracted and made it into a 6.5-minute video that I posted at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that's available.
And Huddles, it answers your question.
It answers your question because I don't know when you got the loan to know how much left of the 60 months, how much time has elapsed since you
watch
got
the video, Huddles.
So watch the video.
We got feedback from some SBA loan officers as to what really should be on a 2202, especially when they're doing cash flow analysis. And it actually modified some of our longstanding advice that we had given to folks on the 2202. So we have that it's 6 minutes and 6 seconds. It's a 606 video that Linda republished today for your reference. All right. Thank you for asking the question. So what's our next question, Linda?
I have had some comments on amended returns. I'm going to just say this. If you didn't see the banner and you're just joining us.
If you didn't see the top of my skull just explode and brain matter pour out.
You amended your return and you have not yet been approved, and you're getting all kinds of information about go to the IRS office, go to the local SBA office, get the stamp return, get your own transcriptions. Let me just tell you this, and I'm sorry. Again, we're here to tell you what we know to be a fact from actual work that we've done. The amended return is automatically, inherently going to delay your process. Period. Full stop.
In all kinds of ways.
Get over it, because that's it. Sorry.
Which Linda's trying to also let you down gently and say to you, you might not get approved by the time they run out of the funding if you've got amended tax returns. Yeah. We still, to this day, do not understand why so many people have amended tax returns. And again, loan officer talking, I've said this many hundreds of times on our shows, as a loan officer, when I hear that somebody has amended their tax return while applying for credit, in this case, an EIDL loan, I hear fraud. That's what I hear. And understand that's how the loan officers of the SBA look at it as well. Because what you're doing is you filed a tax return back in 2020 for a certain amount of revenue. But now in April of 2021, you discovered that you could borrow more money from the SBA. So you go to your accountant, you amend your tax return to show more revenue, reduce your expenses, more revenue to qualify for more money. That is illegal. Yeah. That's fraud.
So listen, you're going to have to just live with the decision you made to amend your tax returns.
Yeah. And we've heard all the excuses, all of them. And you know what? They don't hold water. They don't. I've heard all of them. I heard one just this afternoon with somebody that with an amended return because the CPA told the client, our client, when filing 2020 tax return, not to file for certain of his businesses on the tax return because they were still missing some items. What? File the return. Yeah. So we've heard it all. So, all right, but Linda's not wrong. If you had an amended tax return,
I'm so sick of hearing about the plights people have, and then they reveal they have an amended tax return. It's over. I'm not answering any more questions about amended tax returns.
Can I answer this one?
Yeah, we did a video on this actually, Michael.
So our general philosophy, Michael, is that we don't accept any SBA declination letters, not the paper they're written on.
I'm going to put
not the email they came in. We just don't, because we've just had thousands of horrible experiences. You all have had thousands of horrible experiences with incompetence at the SBA. If the SBA was properly managing the processing of these loan applications, I'd have a lot more respect.
Well, the other thing too is after 2 years, I mean, I think we stopped counting how many files were approved that had been declined. Now, of course, they are coming up with this final, because honestly, I think depending on the file, depending on the applicant, depending on the paperwork, they're sick of looking at sloppy shit. Right. So they're just like, all right, this they don't get it.
One of the other things we know is that when you submit a file, there's a gatekeeper aspect to it, and you get some lower level clerk. They might even be a loan officer, and they look into the file, the past history of the file. They don't actually look at the paperwork you're submitting to overcome the declination, even though the letters that they send literally say you have up to 6 months to submit a reconsideration if you feel you can provide document to support that. They don't even look at the documents.
Yeah,
they don't. And they just see that they look at the history of the file. Like, oh, this file was declined twice already. Boom, done. So
they're hoping that you're like,
they're not
shoot.
hoping. No, no,
Well,
they're not. Don't give them that much credit.
But
they're not that imaginative.
Okay, well, all right.
These
Moving on.
These are clerk people. Don't. So
Genetra.
I just want to finish answering Michael's question.
I answered it with the link to the video.
Link to the video, but also just, I don't know how many times you've submitted. I don't know anything about your file, Michael. So we actually are now seeing some of these letters coming in for some of our clients, where I am breaking the news to them saying, this really is the last one, because
well, there's
as a loan officer / underwriter, you know, we've gotten a lot. We've had hundreds of approvals, over $50 million, but there are some files that just, you know, they fall into a category of files that it's a wish and a promise.
But they actually have been with us for many, many months before SBA was changing around certain things that they, you know, on how they would.
Yeah, I misspoke. Wishful thinking is what I meant.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking that these could be approved. So depending on your situation, you know, a final might actually be a final.
And as a caveat to the question that may be in your mind is, well, then, but why did they approve me before? And we have a video on that, how the EIDL that you got in 2020, that whole process is a lot different than when April 6, 2021 came about and the increase over the 150 came up. It's a different world.
Honestly, it drives me crazy when people say, I don't understand why I can't get approved when they approved me back in 2020. Yet they approved you in 2020 on a 7-minute application you filled out in your iPhone without looking at any paperwork, probably not even running a credit report. They didn't look at anything. It was like this. It was the pandemic. It was crazy lockdown, COVID pandemic days. So, you know, don't use that as any kind of barometer of success for your file at all.
Is therapeutic healing zone still here? Because I did scroll back up to find this question. What is the 3501? And of course, before I answer this question, I will tell you we have a blueprint on that, and that's part of the roadmap as well, on line-by-line instructions on how to fill out the 3501.
That's in our roadmap to reconsideration.
So what is 3501?
Teaches you how to file a reconsideration.
What is 3501?
It's got a dirty look.
3501 is the application for the EIDL that you complete, that you fill out, so that if anything has changed from 2020 when you filled out that online 7-minute app and you made a mistake, you left off an owner, you had a different address, you had a different bank account, you had, you know, whatever, you know, you fill out the 3501 with your current information so that they can then base it on that now. So it's the application.
Technically, the SBA is supposed to accept a 3501 to allow for revisions in the information about the business or the owners of the business, or correct errors on the original application. So, but revisions are important, because how do you update the SBA that your bank account has changed? You know, we're 2 years into this and banks have consolidated, they've changed names, bank accounts get closed, things like that. Businesses have changed addresses, that people don't have access to email addresses anymore. How do you change it? Well, technically speaking, you're supposed to be able to submit the 3501 to change that, but we've seen too many times the SBA reps just don't read it. That's why we keep telling people, just keep resubmitting it. Resubmit until you get the one person who goes, oh, wow, this 3501, and they get to the approval stage. There was a question that you took away. Was it Lenatra or something?
Oh, Genetra. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Hold on. Where are you? Here you are. Okay.
On the personal income statement, I don't know what a personal income statement is.
The PFS. She probably means the personal financial statement.
Oh,
I'm thinking you mean the personal.
Oh, the personal financial statement. Okay. Does it look bad to SBA if your business? No.
Mm-mm. So there you go. That was the easiest question.
Doesn't look bad.
So Nature Bowls, Chad Eckert. Hey,
Chad.
What's up, Chad? Okay. SBA enforced to ask for. Okay. We open. Okay.
Wait, you opened April 2020, then you're not eligible.
You're not even eligible.
Nature Bowls, you're not even eligible for the program.
January 31st, 2020. Any startups, any business startups after that it's got to be for a business prior to January 31st, 2020.
Now, let me qualify that for you, Nature Bowls. if your LLC, corporation, or whatever was formed, and you can prove that with documents to support your assertion that you were formed prior to January 31st, 2020, then technically you are eligible for the program. And then you'd use SBA 1368, but you'd have to use the 3501 we just talked about to say SBA, hey, by the way, we formed in November of 2019. We didn't officially open for business because we were renovating the storefront or whatever it was till April 2020. And, please see 1368, which shows our revenues starting April 2020.
We also have a blueprint on how to fill out the 1368. Yes, indeed. And that's also in the roadmap. The thing too is we've seen a lot of business owners who were sole prop, self-employed, independent contractors, and then they got an EIN number late in 2020 or after January 31st, 2020. So your EIDL is going to be based on you as a business owner, sole prop, independent contractor, self-employed prior to the EIN. So you're not going to be using your EIN number because you were a sole prop. So you'd be using your social security number.
In your 2019 tax return.
2019.
That's important to, what's the word I'm looking for? Important.
Okay. So yeah, you incorporated in 2019. I know you've asked a ton of questions before and I think we've answered, but you're when you opened in late 2019,
they said they opened in April of 2020.
Well, right. So see, it's semantics too, because that's another reason why people get screwed up with the SBA, because the language you're using is not the vernacular that the SBA is accustomed to approving a loan. You can't say we opened in April 2020 and think you're going to get
declined.
That's it.
Do you see our reaction when you wrote April 2020? We immediately said, no, you're not even eligible.
Yeah.
But now you're saying you were incorporated. So it's very important to speak the language of the lending arena that you're working
and to know the SBA rules for the EIDL program, which they have an FAQ section on the SBA website.
Which is why we refer you to the content products we've created, most especially Nature Balls, the roadmap to reconsideration, which has everything you need, including the forms and how to fill. And more importantly, what goes on in my head as a loan officer that's helped us to get hundreds of EIDLs approved for over $50 million in the last 2 years. And so you have to ask yourself, what is that worth to you to get the loan?
And also, when you open up in late 2019 and you've had minimal to no revenue, you're going to have to fight for it. You got to fight for it because they're not SBA isn't creative on doing math on what they think your economic injury is. You have to lead them down the path of what that number could possibly be. So we had a guy, one of the most successful stories. We have two successful stories on opening in 2019. And they were going to give him $24,000. And Trevor was like, no, this is how we got to this. And then he was like, oh, okay.
The loan officer.
Boom. Yeah, the loan officer. Boom. $276,000.
It went from 24 to 276,000, which still wasn't an accurate number based upon my math and the actual economic injury. In fact, we now have that client's file back into the SBA. But, you can be successful with it, but it's hit or miss.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
When you were not open in 19, or just opened at the end of it in 19, what we've seen so far with our client files, it's you hit or you don't.
And you have to get logical and focused on the forecasting and knowing your business, knowing the vertical of your business, on how much money you could have made and how much you lost, or the opportunity, the lost opportunity costs, etc. You have to get creative with presenting that to them in a viable, professional, solid manner. Okay, so it's tough.
And we show you how to do that in the roadmap.
And we show you how to do it.
And in our other products.
Yes, and dental all smiles. Yes, we have a blueprint. Listen, you name it, we got it, baby. Okay. We have the post-closing blueprint, dental all smiles. Send me an email, linda@auroraconsulting.biz. And until our website is up and running, I have a workaround if you want to get it, if you want to buy it. I'm I'm really hoping that they restore this website by tonight because it's already been a day and a half. So we'll get that to you. So send me an email. All right, where were we? Oh, any questions that someone's asked that we have not
Put up Janetra's hold on. I love
and
this.
oh, by the
This
way,
is a great
if
comment.
you're asking a question and we're answering it and we're giving you some useful information, feel free to leave us a little donation here, a tip, or something that says thank you for helping me and saving me some time and trying to figure out what I'm doing here. That would be really helpful.
Janetra, you said it. They ask for everything.
Yeah.
They ask for everything, Janetra. Do they actually look at it? What?
Well, that's and that's why we say resubmit.
Yeah.
So
it comes down to patience, persistence, process, and the person at the SBA that gets your file.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
All
Question and answer.
Okay. Stan, does SBA always send anyone when they forward your? It's typically an automated message, and I think you got one because
this is
I know. But I'm just answering the question because it's a general question that somebody else might know, and it's not exactly to his file.
Well, we can't answer this.
But hold on. What we have seen.
No, we can't answer this question because we see the emails all the time, but we don't know if all our clients. We don't know.
What we do know is that when clients do what they're supposed to do and forward all SBA communications to us, oftentimes there will be, especially after our Jumpstart program that we started in November, December, they would get an automated message that said that their 4506T was submitted to the IRS. Processing could take.
But that's not the question he's asking.
Yeah. Does
SBA always?
Always. Okay. Always. We don't know always, but we do know that they.
Let's just say this. The reason I'm kind of hammering this is because I don't believe they do, Stan. I don't believe they do. They are so inconsistent in everything that they do. Look, we get emails, and Stan, you might have gotten one already. If not, you will, saying, hey, log into the SBA portal to manage your application. And then we go in and there's nothing there. There's no there. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Why did they send you that email? So
we have a blueprint also on 4506T that has a little insight as to why we think SBA rejects the 4506Ts.
Well, Prophet, you've been on our show before because I remember that handsome smiling face.
Yeah.
You, if you haven't already looked at our 4506T video or purchased our roadmap to reconsideration, we strongly advise you to do so because if you've sent in that many 4506Ts and they're not getting your transcript, something's wrong. Usually, in my experience, it's the 4506T which is incorrect.
Yeah.
Now, one last thing I'll say, Prophet. If, on the other hand, you've amended your tax returns, all bets are off.
All bets are off. All right.
What's next, Linda Ray?
I'm putting up a banner.
Kim, thank you.
If you want to inquire about a blueprint, okay? Yeah, I'm putting a banner that gives you my email. If you want to inquire about a blueprint, email me until our website is up and running, where it's just a link and then you buy it. And but
I have to.
Thank you, Kim Pizza.
Yep. Hold on. I have to put this question up because
SBA said I need to.
What does that mean, Denise? Do we do bank statements?
Do you guys do bank statements?
What are you asking us if we create bank statements?
No,
because that's fraud.
Oh,
please.
No, she's not. She's not asking. Do you guys do?
Oh, you don't know what I've seen when I was on the Facebook group. People were actually selling with the PPP loans. They were selling hey, you need paperwork. I can make it up for you.
I think what she's asking is, have we seen where the SBA will ask for bank statements on a file? And the answer is yes.
Yes, they will on certain files. Very rarely, but you really should be using SBA Form 1368 and SBA Form 3501, which again, as we mentioned, is in our roadmap to reconsideration product.
Yeah.
So Denise, if you could clarify that, I'd really like to make sure I did not just accuse you of asking us to commit fraud.
I don't want to even read what Chad wrote because When did you talk to a loan officer?
Wait, when did you talk to a loan officer? I didn't know about that, Chad.
Oh, Chad, you're in
Not
big
good.
trouble, buddy.
Not good. Not good.
Big trouble, buddy. Big
We have
trouble.
very strict rules here to our consulting about how our clients are not supposed to interact with SBA without our advice and guidance, period.
And when you do, you're
And
only
by the
putting
way,
yourself at risk.
whoever is the fucking idiot that you talked to, Chad, gave you wrong information. Yeah, there's an expiration date. Do you know what it is, Chad? Because I know what it is. You know, I know what it is. It's 4 months, 120 days. That's why we keep your documents up to date. And you just recently submitted some of our documents.
Mark.
Okay. Mark, you're a champion.
You are. You're a gentleman and a scholar, my friends. All right. All right. And even Chad, if you got an email, you're supposed to forward that to us so we know what's going on. Otherwise, we can't help you. We had a guy today who took. I'm not even going to get into it. Not going to get into it.
We started the day on a very bad note with a bad client today.
And dental, yes, he dropped the F-bomb.
Yes, I did. I absolutely did.
This is, listen,
but, you know,
I do not check the box that says that this is made for kids. I do not.
This is indicative of what I said earlier about the crap information that comes out of the mouths of the idiots at the SBA. Yeah. You know, we get the 4506 team, we get all kinds of nonsense emails saying, oh, the IRS will reject this because since it's a 1040 tax return, the spouse must also sign it. No, they don't have to sign it. Read the instructions. Literally at the bottom of the form, it says the authorized person. Do you know that your accountant or the CFO of your corporation or your bookkeeper with your written authorization is allowed to sign an IRS 4506T? How about that? Mind-blowing SBA idiots. Okay.
All right. Brian, so this is good news. They're resizing now.
Resizing is good.
But that doesn't mean you're approved. I think you know that. That's why your question then says, how long does it take to do so? It depends on when this person who mentioned about resizing, when they relinquish the file, to whom they relinquish. And it could still take weeks.
So just so you know, Brian, how it works. The loan officer says, and I really hate when the loan officers say this because it gives people the wrong idea about their file. I'm approving your file.
That doesn't mean you're approved.
Or in your case, Brian, I'm resizing your file. Does not mean you're in the home stretch yet, because there's another level of management scrutiny, and then there's the legal team that swoops in and does all the stupid lawyer stuff. And then there's the fraud prevention team. Like there are 85 million hands that touch your file at the SBA. It's bureaucracy on steroids.
Chad said he did forward.
Any number of people who are involved in the process can shut you down. So you've got to be careful about how long does it take. What we say, as we said earlier, is patience and persistence with the process is to just hang in there. I would say to you, Brian, make sure you check your portal. We're now recommending to our clients to check the portal once a week and see if the resize shows up. And it will ask you to accept the loan amount. Now, if it does, you will accept the loan amount and submit the file for processing. Again, you're still not approved.
You know, if you were, I mean, nobody would want to do this, but if you were to go back and watch videos from last year and even the summer of 2020, you know, there's a lot of things that have changed with the SBA that is different from advice and guidance and counsel that we were providing a year and a half ago. It's still unfortunate, though, the SBA has not gotten their act together enough, but you know, were we saying stay out of the portal and now we're saying check it once a week? Yes. Were saying the politicians are useless and now, you know, call your USA? Yes. But you know what? Listen, at some point, something's got to give. And there's been pressure on how certain fundamentals of the process have to get better with the SBA.
So, Chad, I just want to slightly apologize because I didn't understand. So you're saying you forwarded the email. So, because you did say that.
Let's relish in Trevor apologizing. Wow, this is a big moment.
But
where's the confetti?
You probably weren't here earlier in the show where I said, if any of you are our clients who are on the show, we really don't want to discuss your files. And Chad, what just happened is a perfect example of why we respond in certain ways to emails from clients and so forth, and why we don't want to talk about them on the show, because my response to your question should have been tempered by the fact that I actually looked at your file You know, see,
Okay.
but when you start out by saying I spoke, you know, a loan officer told me, brain cap explode, brain matter on the ceiling. So I apologize, Chad. Okay.
All right.
I don't know what it means. I saw your question in the list. I have no idea what manual distribution list means, but go back to our earlier part of the video in our script, the 4 Ps, which are, Linda Ray?
Patience, persistence, process, and person. People.
In other words, Arav, a lot of the process, stop trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what manual distribution list. How is that going to help you?
Yeah.
You know what's going to help you? It's not. You might as well know how to start an F-35 jet fighter in the Air Force. Do you know how to start one? I don't. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. You know why? Because there's a pilot who's flying that and protecting American citizens. So you see what I mean? There are certain elements of the process, SBA, when people ask us, and we know that on that Reddit place that I despise and hate with all of my physical and emotional and mental personage, that's all those idiots talk about on Reddit is trying to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. Don't try to figure it out.
That's a waste of time. Again,
do the process.
Control what you can control in your business so you can make money.
Control what you can control.
Pivot and be productive with how you make money versus what are they? Stop.
Okay, so last night at noon, thanks for your statement. I don't really know what it means.
It means how the hell did she get approved, or they got approved for a 7A loan when they haven't even gotten approved for the EIDL? PPB's over, so forget about that.
Because they're completely
morons.
different. No,
well,
no,
SBA morons.
Well,
but it is program. But
okay. First of all, your 7A goes through a regular lender first. So you have another level of scrutiny. The SBA doesn't approve 7A loans. Your bank does.
Yeah.
Yes, the SBA has to sign off on it, and they can make it kind of crazy, but you have a screening process. You've got somebody like us at the bank, hopefully, who's working in your behalf to try to get the loan approved. That's not the case with the SBA EIDL. This is why there's a chatter in Congress about giving the SBA direct approval authority on certain lower loan amount SA 7A and 504 loans. There's people in Congress talking about, oh, let's let the SBA so to cut the banks out. That's the worst thing that possible happen. I mean, where are these Congress people when this EIDL mess has been going on for 2 years? The SBA can't close a window. I said that because we're sitting in front of a window. Forget about approving. They're a nightmare. They should not be in control of direct approvals. So, we have some other questions.
Do we have any other questions? I don't know. I'm not scrolling back, but I think I've addressed the questions that are in our view.
Thanks, Chad.
Yeah. Chad.
Thanks for accepting my apology. Linda's going to take that apology and loop it. And she's going to put it out here on the channel. I'm gonna make a GIF out of it. Breaking news: Trevor apologizes.
That's going to be a GIF for sure, or a clip. They call it a clip when you can have sound.
Patel, you are quite welcome. Wish we could have been more helpful. I hope that was helpful, because a lot of what we try to do here, Rob, is really just kind of help all of you manage your expectations. We want to teach you about the process. What we've been doing on all these videos, but and with our content products, which you can purchase. But a lot of it, except
for today, because our website's down, which is why I have this banner
up. If you want to purchase the products, you have to email Linda. But I was a mortgage loan officer for 30 years. And that's why Linda's a licensed insurance broker. We have a completely different perspective on how these types of processes work. And we know one of the things is we don't try to figure out what it is that they're doing. What we do is work within, with the process.
Well, we work within the confines of what we do know, which are filling out the forms correctly, providing the proper identification and documents for, voided check and et cetera, and the forms 3501, 3502, 4506, T, PO 22, and 2202.
And 1368.
And 1368.
And resolution letter.
And the resolution letter.
And maximum loan letter.
Yeah.
And credit repool authorization letter.
If you're still
Arav
with us and you're a client, all
Arav
the documents
Patel, I just want to say something here, which goes back to the 3 insights that we shared in tonight's show. Insight number 1, Linda, was congressional inquiries. This script is right here.
Yeah, congressional inquiries.
I'm just happy you stayed in frame for the whole show. Congressional inquiries Okay. And number 2, post-closing. And number 3, cash flow.
Oh,
So,
we haven't gotten to that
Arav,
yet.
no, we did cash flow.
Oh, we did cash flow. Yeah.
Arav, so if they, first of all, customer service, I wouldn't believe customer service if they told me the sky was blue. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't believe anything they say to me. Go to your portal, see what it says there. Now, February 15th, it's kind of a long time ago. It's about a month. Timelines are all over the place for approvals, but I would recommend 2 strategies. Resubmit your paperwork and contact a United States Senator. Ask them to get a loan officer from the high priority Congressional intervention team to call you. Any other response is unacceptable, Arav. Call your United States Senator, not your congressperson, your senator. Watch the replay of the video when Linda puts it up, where we talk about how that process works. What's our next question, Linda Ray?
Good question.
Here we have another one with 2019. Okay.
What?
So Nelson, I'm going to answer it very briefly, but we're going to encourage you to on the replay of this video to scroll back. Linda will timestamp stuff. Do you still timestamp stuff?
Depends.
Okay, maybe she's not going to timestamp stuff.
I do timestamp.
But Nelson, what you want to do is watch the replay, because we went into this in great length a few minutes ago for another person who asked a similar question. So first of all, anybody who was not open for business fully and has a full year of income and revenue and expenses for 2019 faces an extra uphill challenge with the SBA to get approved. Number 2, there is a method that we have achieved success with in those situations with our clients, which we talk about briefly in the video, but more importantly, you can find it in our roadmap to reconsideration, which is a product we sell, which gives you all the forms, teaches you how to file a reconsideration, and helps you get insight from my loan officer brain into how I interact with the SBA. And if you want to purchase that product, Linda at auroraconsulting.biz, and she'll connect you with that. But Nelson, you can be approved. There is a process to it. So certainly replay, watch the video, and inquire about purchasing the roadmap. What's our next question?
Next question.
This is my favorite question right here. Right here.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Yancy.
What?
Why are you sending somebody an email?
Because they emailed me and they're watching us.
Okay.
And I had to not give them good news.
This is what I put up on the screen, Linda, right?
What is it?
Yancy Green.
Hi, Yancy Green.
Love you too. Why am
I looking up there when I can see it right here on my computer?
I don't know.
Thank you, Yancy Green.
Thank you.
I love that. All right. So
good to hear it, Nelson. Good to hear it.
That's it.
That's it. We're done with questions.
Well, there's no more questions. If you have a question,
we're going to do a quick recap and give you folks a moment to kind of convene your thoughts. If any of you have some remaining questions, again, if you have questions, we ask you to be very specific and detailed in the questions and put one question forward. We don't really want to go hunting around for multiple questions. So to recap, the 3 insights we wanted to share with you tonight and that we did share is about congressional inquiries. Contact the United States Senator's office, and the only response you want as a result of that, what's called congressional inquiry, okay, is to get a phone call from a loan officer. If they try to process your file for you, if they get you a letter from the SBA with a status, call the Senator's office back and say, I can get a status on my own by calling.
And my status is I'm not approved.
Okay. I don't want a status. I want the loan. I need an SBA loan officer from the high priority intervention team to call me. That is the only response you want. Anything else, unacceptable.
And it wastes
pushing
time.
Your senator, keep pushing your senator to get that. Now, these things are hit or miss. So just keep that in mind. But we've had good success with the strategy so far in the last 8 or 9 weeks for about $10 million in approvals. It doesn't work for everybody. Okay. But it's just another strategy. Next insight we shared was about post-closing. Payments, folks, start in the next 2 weeks because the EIDL COVID-19 program opened on March 16th, 2020. It went live onto the website for the application. I'm going to say third, fourth, somewhere around March 25th or so. I don't remember the exact date. And that's when you could go onto the app. But prior to that, you'd have to download the forms and submit them manually to an SBA email address. But the program launched on March 16th, 2020. And some of those loans were approved very quickly in days, which is mind-blowing when you think about it. But some of them were approved. So those people who were approved in March of 2020 and funded in March 2020, your payments are coming due this month. And all the rest of us who got funded and approved in 2020 on the anniversary date, whether you got an increase or not, your payments are starting. So we created a product to walk you through your responsibilities, which are rather onerous and complicated and lengthy in time, 5 years and 6 years and 30 years. Not to mention our product talks about what are the eligible uses of the EIDL funds. And you can purchase that product by sending an email to linda@auroraconsulting.biz. Third insight we shared on tonight's show is about cash flow analysis for SBA EIDLs above $500,000. Up to $500,000, credit score of 570, no cash flow analysis. Above $500,000, 625 credit score, and the SBA will conduct analysis of your tax return to determine that the business has enough money after paying all of its revenue, all of its bills, all of its debt, including the proposed payment for the new loan with the EIDL, to have some money left over at the end of every year. And we created a cash flow product that you can purchase by sending an email to linda@auroraconsulting.biz. And why are we selling product and not just telling you? 2 reasons. Number one, what we're sharing is too complicated for the videos. It's just,
and we're not taking any new clients.
We're not taking new clients.
But you will have these blueprints and the roadmap, which includes all the blueprints. It's just one guidebook, is our process on how we've gotten almost $50 million.
I think it's more than 50 million as of today.
Okay. That's because we got a couple people that were approved for 2 million, for the full 2 million.
Yeah. So those are our 3 insights to share with you, and also to kind of talk you off the ledge about people who are worried about how much money is remaining. It is what it is. You can't control it.
You can
Just
only
stay patient and persistent.
You can only double check your paperwork, triple check your paperwork. The mistakes are legendary of what we see and how things have been completed. And that's because you're not familiar with the process. I mean, you didn't know you were going to have to, be a loan officer when you started filling out these documents and the application for the EIDL. So,
okay, we have a question here from Gino.
Third.
Every time
I think I got an email from
something
Gino.
else. My third, it was because of my income.
Can I submit another 2202? Was I think what you mean.
I think, Gino, you're at the moment of truth where since you cannot hire us, because we're not taking clients, you should purchase the roadmap to reconsideration. What is this EIDL loan worth to your business? Is it worth a small investment in the cost of our product, which will walk you through the entire process? Because, Gino, you're not a loan officer like I am, or an underwriter like Linda is, and we've gotten hundreds of files approved. And our process is completely different from what you're writing in this comment. You see, what you're doing is you're focusing on one item.
Yeah.
That you think this is the fatal mistake that so many of our clients made before they hired us. They were like, "Oh, it's that reason," and I would just say, "Okay, yeah, sure," because it's not that reason. You know why? Nobody knows what the reason is. Yeah. Often the reason is just sheer incompetence and a lack of consistent standards at the SBA.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very often what it is. But often also it is the fault of the applicant for presenting crappy paperwork, overtly emotional and lengthy storytelling emails and letters, which are a complete waste of time. Our process is about an application and presenting all of the formal documents in a formal and high quality manner. That's how we get loans approved. So, Gino, I would encourage you to send an email to linda@auroraconsulting.biz and inquire about purchasing that product.
Michael.
Okay. Michael, you had it Well, listen, it wouldn't be a live show without Michael chiming in. Has anybody gone on my credit report?
You need to get your butt to San Diego to the Social Media Marketing World Conference, which I will be at next week. What? And Bob, hello, Bob. Do we still ask them for ID info and pass that? Yes, you pass that. You get their name.
What you want to do, Bob, is get their name and email address and forward that to me.
And then we're going to get them everything.
And however you have to get it.
Yeah.
I say that as a New Yorker to you out there in the in the breadbasket of the United States, Bob. But you're a pretty Bob, you're a pretty savvy CPA. I respected that about you the first time I was on the phone with you. So I think you're savvy enough to use some street techniques.
Stop with the running out of money. Please. Oh my God.
Yeah. Arav, that's why we started our show tonight talking about that.
You got to rewind to the beginning of the show.
You can't control it. So what does it matter?
Yeah.
And I know it came from Skip's channel. Ryder was talking about it, 41 million. Now they're saying 35 billion left. You can't control it. Just get your paperwork in. And if they run out, they run out. I mean, we saw this happen already with the PPP program. They ran out of money. Actually, the SBA ran out of money in the early days of the whole program. If you remember, they shut it down in June 15, 2020 for a couple of weeks.
And then it was back up.
Yeah.
When you get a loan with the EIDL, you need to read your loan agreement because it does say you have up to 24 months to request an increase. Eventually, just so you know.
Well, hold on. It says that in the loan. So here's very interesting. Chad, actually, thank you for this question. This is a fantastic question because now I want to get into some legal hypotheticals and maybe some Congress people are listening to this, okay? Because there's something really
You're not listening to us.
Something really defective about the SBA's answer to your question, Chad. Okay. Your EIDL loan agreement states that the applicant must, at the earliest possible moment, notify the SBA of a need for additional funding up to 24 months from the approval date. Mm-hmm. That means the whole idea there in a disaster zone of a tornado, all the language in the loan agreement is about natural disasters, not about COVID-19, which the SBA still hasn't changed any of their processes to be resilient with COVID-19, but a whole other thing. The loan agreement is designed that if you got money from the program to cover lost revenue because of a tornado and you discover that you actually lost more and that's why they want you to come back quickly. All right, so that's what the loan agreement says, Chad. It says you've got up to 24 months to request an increase. But here's what it says on the SBA website about the COVID-19 program. Up to 24 months to request for an increase or until SBA runs out of funds. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem with the SBA saying until the SBA runs out of funds. Here's the problem with it. The SBA has a contract with you, the borrower. The United States government has a signed contract with you. The loan agreement and the note is a contract. And the contract says you are permitted to ask for additional funds. In fact, they encourage you as quickly as possible to ask for additional funds up to 24 months. How can they then say in language that is not part of the contract, they say it on their website, they say it in their emails and their marketing materials. Last time I checked, marketing materials are not a contract. How can they say in that forum until the funds run out? Do you see the inherent legal calamity that is going on here? So stand by, stay tuned. Maybe the Congress will fix this. Very unlikely, but who knows?
All right.
But thanks for bringing up that point and letting me rant and rave about something that particularly irks me about the SBA and the Congress with this whole COVID-19 thing.
263 Holdings. I just put in the chat that you really should just get our blueprint for the 4506T and how to complete it and why SBA rejects it.
So 263, the good news.
Our website is down, so you have to email me so I can send you a workaround until I'm thinking our website's going to be up.
Well, let me answer this. So 263, the good news is that the IRS has processed your tax return because the fact that you were able to download a transcript is a home run. So, because that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Especially for folks who filed the notorious amended tax returns. If a transcript's available, or folks who file late, if a transcript is available, that means that the SBA can access it. So then it becomes a question of how does the SBA access it? And 90% of the time, in my opinion, it is because of a defective 4506T. Just today alone, I was on the SBA portal twice for our clients, and the SBA wants the client to DocuSign a 4506T, which was defective.
Incorrect.
In one case, it was for a 1040 tax return, and they had the client, the applicant name. The problem is she's married, and her husband's name is the first name on the tax return, not hers. And the 4506T prepared by SBA did not have both names, which means if she had DocuSigned it and the SBA uses that defective 4506T, it comes back as no record found from the IRS. You see?
But the
and
SBA,
this is 90% or better.
But this is the thing, too, that SBA, they can't get how the tax return has the names, but they want you to put a title other than what the correct title is.
So that's another one. We had an SBA gatekeeper sending an email to one of our clients saying, you have your 4506T is incorrect. It will be rejected by the IRS because you have the wrong title for your role in the business. There's an LLC.
He's a sole member.
He's a sole member. And they said, you cannot be a sole member. You have to be managing member. So change the title and sign it and send it back to us.
Meanwhile,
here at the SBA.
IRS document SS4 has him as a sole member. That's one example.
We included this in one of our shows.
That's one example. The other example was...
I'm sorry. On the SS4, it literally says sole. I know, but I just want to emphasize that because it drives me nuts.
So the other example that we had was, so we have a 2-member LLC. So she was as managing member, except now they come back and say, no, you have to put partner. What? Okay.
There are no partners in LLCs. There are partners in LLPs.
I mean, it's really ludicrous. It's almost completely
But so
mind-boggling.
263, it's really good news that you know that the tax returns process. So your next step, strongly encourage you spend a few shekels and buy our product, the blueprint, the 4506T, which you can get by sending an email to this gorgeous gal here. Who's out of frame again. Linda at auroraconsulting.biz.
Well, I mean, honestly, if this website does not restore overnight for the second night, I'm going to be so pissed. I'm already pissed. My web designer's pissed. I mean, we're just going to have to do a Zoom call and drink wine or something about it because, whatever.
So, Mark, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. If they run out of money, how do you have 2 years? Somehow they think they can slide this away by saying until we run out of funds, but that's not what your contract says. Your EIDL contract says.
Right. So.
Okay. I think we're wrapping it up for the night, folks.
Wrap it up. It's been, holy cow, it's been an hour and a half. All right. So if you're still with us and we have helped you and we have answered questions, couple things you can do to say thank you. You can leave us a Google review, number 1. Number 2, you can subscribe to our Simple Sense for Small Business podcast channel, which it was audio only, and then we started doing video, and then we got consumed with EIDL.
Well, we're a little backed up, but
we're backed up.
There's quite a few podcasts up already. You can also find the podcast on Apple and where else? All the podcast
YouTube,
channels.
But since you're on YouTube,
yeah,
we're going to ask you to subscribe. I think we only need like 42 more subscribers to get the community tab, which is where you can put posts and so on. This channel has it. And
of course, if you want to click on the little red button like Mark Pruitt did, thank you again, Mark. You're too generous and too kind.
And Kim, thank you, Kim.
So, if you want to make a
contribution so that we can continue giving you
monetary remuneration,
yes,
to use the appropriate financing term. But I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. I am Trevor, and this is the beautiful Linda Ray, my girl. We're up here in the snowy New England weather today. It was quite beautiful. It was a gorgeous snowfall we had all day. And we love where we live. We love what we do for you, but we're exhausted. We've been doing it for 2 years, effective next week. And so we are winding it down, but you'll still find us here because EIDL is still available for natural disasters. So we will still provide content for you, including some live shows in the future. But we are going to be moving on some other ventures and enterprises in the coming weeks, which is why she's going to a conference.
And why Michael from Writer's Sanctuary is asking, when is Trevor's music channel going to be populated with new content? And that is part of our goal for this year. So thank you very much to everyone who has stuck it out with us and is still with us at this moment. And thank you for tuning in. If you're on the replay, appreciate it. Please, everyone, be healthy, be well, be prosperous, be patient.
Last thing I want to say is this: God bless those poor people in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Our minds and hearts and thoughts and prayers are with the people of Ukraine. And what they're going through is horrific.
Yeah.
And it's important, I think, that we here in the United States take a moment to be grateful for what we have and keep in mind that there are people suffering horribly there. So,
all right.
On that note, we'll say good night, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night, everybody.